leading. As usual, just thought of sharing some thoughts about the topic itself. Yeah, when we say the topic, Vethathirian way of leading, the word leading, it raises some additional question within us, right? Leading what? Leading life, leading self, leading others, like right from family, surroundings, our circle, team, office. There are many, right? So according to the situation of every one of us, it differs what exactly we mean by that leading. Then in addition to this leading, what we are talking here, there are some other meanings for the word leading also. We used to mention, right, when the election results or election counting is going on, we used to ask who is leading now. So whoever is progressing at the front, we used to mean them by the word leading also. And also another example, yeah, we used to ask this way, who is the leading doctor in the city, or who is the leading movie star in that field, like so on. So we have in this today's topic, we will be covering all this kind of leadings. Okay, so in addition to that, after having some understanding on the leading, we'll be talking about the Vethathirian way of leading also. So how I reached to this topic, or what made me to take this topic of today, again, as usual, Maharishi's poem in the topic of quality of leadership. Maharishi is starting this poem with the line, leadership is essential in any group of association. So I just wanted to be with that first line only as of now. So leadership is essential. So today we are seeing around, right, everywhere we are talking about the leadership, either from a personal level or even in the family. Leader has to be progressing well. And of course, in the organization, we are seeing here in all the organizations about everywhere talking about the leadership. So why is it essential? Is it clear to all of us? Is it? It is essential. That has to be clear because Maharishi is starting the poem itself with that first line, right? So are we clear why is it essential? Yeah. So I couldn't see any interaction from online members also. And yeah, here I could see the physical session members are nodding. So it is essential. We all could realize, since we are seeing around, people are talking about that as an important component. Because when we see as a whole mankind in this universe, we are all talking about enhancing ourselves, right? So we are talking about a continuous upliftment of human beings. So that can be achieved by this leadership, because we need a leader, either it is a family level or office or in the national level, even for the government also, there should be a strong leader who is having a visionary aspect of point of view. Then only the overall progression can be visibly seen. So that is the reason all the systems are talking about the importance of leadership today. So with that understanding, we can realize now that leadership is essential. So just listing out some of the importance of the leadership. yeah, as we talked, it brings the improvement in all of us, not only on us, and on the, if you are talking about national level, the leader of the government, if he is having a strong concept and a strong point of view, we can see the improvement all over, right? So that is a important component of this leadership. And then we are talking about giving a goal, and after achieving it, we have to think about continuous progression also, raising the bar. So setting the new level of the achievements so that we will be able to move forward with some kind of progress. And also moving together, right? It is not only the leader is progressing, so the entire nation will be seeing that progress also if we are talking about the national leadership. So with all this understanding, we can realize that the leadership is essential, and why all the organizations, okay, we will talk about the organizations which will be clear to visualize, right? So why all the organizations are talking about improving the leadership qualities today, because it gives some kind of important overall progression to the organization as well as to the people also. So having said that leadership is essential, we need to have some kind of qualities, right? So the leaders are people at the front line should have some kind of qualities so that we can see all the importance of leadership is achieved also. So what could be those qualities? Can there be any guess? By our own experience, we should have seen, even in family level, we can see that many of us are playing the role of leadership in the family level, right? So what could be the ideal, or what could be the qualities seen as important to have this kind of effective leadership? Any word?
Confidence and trust from the people.
From others, okay, yeah.
They are not confident, the leaders will not be there. They will not obey, or they will not have any respect, or they will not pursue the command. So command, confidence or assurance from the leader will be
to be exhibited to the other members. So they should feel confident on the leader. That's what we mean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point. What else we can say? Any thought?
Flexibility and take part.
So we have to accept others' opinion also. So being flexible to change the decision when there is any input from the other members. Yeah, that is also one of the important quality adding to the success. Patience. Okay, patience and self-follower. You should have a good character and follow a virtuous way of life. Yeah, so that is, yeah, all good points came up here and through the messages also. Thanks for sharing that. Just ideally talking about the leadership before going to the ultimate qualities which are pointed out Mr. M.K. Babu, just talking about from the base quality onwards. So ideally we can talk about, the list can be like this. That's what just I felt from my own thought. I just listed out some of the qualities which could be adding to the successful exhibition of the leadership itself. So willpower being the first one. So that is important for a leader to have a strong willpower so that the decisions made could be executed properly. And courage, yeah, of course, that is required to move forward and take the people also along with that, because the strong belief is the base thing, right? So the courage only can add the main strength to the overall team. Selflessness, of course, some of the chat messages also touching about that quality. Yeah, this is one of the other point we talked also, like flexibility. When we talk about, when we consider others, so that will be starting from this selflessness. It is not only we have to see the entire team also, right? and the visionary outlook, because overall we need to see the long-term vision and the overall success of the entire team members also. Then consistency, yeah. So the courage, the confidence which you are touching, that will be starting from this, because the leader has to be consistent in his interaction with others, right? Otherwise, one day we are behaving like that, other day we are behaving in another manner. So the other team members may not feel confident on the leader itself. So that is related to this quality which we talk about, consistency. The knowledge, of course, whatever we do, according to the kind of organization, even in the family level, we need to have some kind of self-knowledge, right? That is required to lead. When you talk about managing different children in different age, so they could be on a different background of education. So we need to have some kind of basic knowledge to handle all this and take them forward as a single team. Then the efficient communication, yeah, that is also an important quality, because we need to share our own visionary outlook, whatever we have inside, that has to be exhibited to others, that has to be done with proper and efficient communication. Then honesty, yeah, that's what touched in one of the chat message also, I remember. So we are talking about being honest. This is also one of the quality of the leader. So this is, even though it's not like ideal list for all of us, in general, I just thought of putting up some of the qualities which could be the ideal list. That is what I came up with. Then we will see something about the theory on the leadership. As I was telling, different organizations are talking about leadership because they all understand the power of the people, and that has to be enhanced first to strengthen overall the people as well as the organization. So that is the reason all the organizations are keen on this. So a lot of theoretical concepts are being developed on leadership also, because a lot of management organizations which are working for continuous improvement, they are bringing different kind of theoretical concepts on leadership. So just to name few, there are a lot of leadership styles being taught, right? Autocratic and bureaucratic, democratic leadership, laissez-faire leadership, task leadership, charismatic leadership, relationship leadership, and servant leadership. These are few to name again, because there are a lot of continuous research ongoing in this field, and management organizations are coming with new concepts of having a different leadership style. So this leadership style, what it indicates to us, we need to adopt different style of leadership. It can't be the same for all kind of organizations. Or when we come to the family level, we should adopt a different style. When we talk about a national level, that also depending on that nation's nature, we should adopt a different style. Even within that nation, according to the situation changes and current demand, we need to adopt different style of the leadership also. So that is the reason there are a lot of leadership styles are being around in the management theory, and people are adopting it for their improvement as well as the organization, our family, or the nation's improvement also. Then let's come to the current condition. So how are we seeing around? What is the reality? Even though having a lot of concepts developed and a lot of knowledge is being shared through the organizations to the people, how is the realistic situation and what is the reality? What is our practical experience? How are we seeing the leaders around us today? Are we seeing this as a reality? Whatever we talked so far about the theoretical concept and importance of leadership, is it being exhibited by all the leaders around us, what we are seeing today?
There are various what you showed, the management style, three varieties, autocratic, democratic,
Bureaucratic.
These are the ones which are prominent or
Yeah, again, that will be different when we talk about all the audience, including the online attendees. It could be different according to our experience, right? We may be seeing some ideal leaders really around us, and we may be seeing other way also. But in general, when we talk about the leaders of nations around all the world, when we compare with the ideal concept, there's a big gap. We all can understand that, right? So we are seeing a lot of controversial decisions being made by the leaders who are having responsibility, which is impacting on all the mankind of this universe. So leaving that broader level, let us come to our own level. How is our self condition within our family? If you are playing as a leadership role, how are we playing? When we compare to the ideal list of styles or ideal list of qualities, when we compare with those kind of discussion points, how are we performing within our family level? Are we all successful? Or are we all matching to the, at least to the above average of that ideal state? That is more, so that means that we are yet to transform, right? There is a gap again, even in the family level. If you compare also, we are not even up to the 50% of the ideal state, whatever we are talking about. As you are telling, those kind of improvements required within us to achieve or to reach at least to the close to the ideal concept. And why is it difficult? That's what. Having that understanding and messages communicated to all of us, we know that, as you mentioned, commanding and demanding, our command is more on us. So why is it difficult to change? Or is it easy to change that much? Easily. Again, if that is easy, that has the answer itself, right? If it is that easy, people will be changing and we will not be seeing the realistic picture in that manner. So by that understanding, we can say that it is not that easy. Why? Because what I'm saying from my point of view, when we talk about leadership, it's kind of balancing, right, between different qualities and accommodating different team members' input and according to the situation, changing all the styles. So it is a kind of a play which needs some kind of balanced approach. And at any one point, if you are slipping, we will be having some kind of negative result. So we all have difficulty as human beings to have that balanced approach in all the situations. So that is the reason it's creating some kind of occasional lapse within us, which pushes us down from having that ideal level of leadership. Even in our family level, when we compare, so we couldn't, if you take one quality like not demanding from others, if you are fixing that, we will not be able to follow that 100% in all situations, right? Due to the emotional state level change or due to the dynamic conditional change. In some or other time, we will be losing our emotion and we will be crossing that kind of situation. So that is the reason it is being difficult for all of us. So what we can do, that is where I thought of linking with our kind of practices, because even though all the organizations are giving a clear message that new system are being developed for people's enhancement, I feel some kind of conceptual change is required in this because we are not seeing the success of those concepts. So when we see the conceptual change requirement, I was just doing some kind of search around that. So I could come up with this point, like many of the leaders today may be dealing within these circles, what are shown here, right? Soul, mind, body, and spiritual leader. So the circle, 4 different circles are shown here. So when we are talking about being the leader within one level of circle and not expanding to the next level is creating some kind of conflict. So that is where we all need to expand and elevate ourselves when we talk about progressing further or moving further within self level or with others also. So it has to be expanded by and also by having a proper balance between the inner. So when we talk about self level, it is all first three circles are connected, right? Soul, mind, and body. So those are within our control, within our physical boundary. So we are trying to achieve harmony between those three first before expanding it further. Then we need to expand further also. It is not only us. So that is the reason many of the leaders, when they play within these three, so they will be having kind of self-centered approach. So that will not be buying the support from other team members. So that is the reason we need to expand to the outer level also, which is kind of spiritual leader. There are some concepts being developed on this. I could see now a lot of last 10 years, we may say that around the management institutions are talking about this. So what I understand when we touch about the spiritual leader, it is something connected to the connectivity of everyone. So we are seeing all our team members, our family members, all the employees of the organization are connected with a common goal, right? So that has to be seen by a national level or world level. When we see also, we should see as human beings, we are all connected with some kind of commonality. So when we have that kind of approach, then we will be able to realize that spiritual leadership. So that is where we need to reach, so that we will be able to get all these kind of ideal qualities practically when we talk about achieving that. So that is what I was trying to arrive on the changes. What kind of conceptual change required, rather than having this kind of other, even though all other leadership styles, whatever given so far, it should consider some kind of spiritual leadership concept, which is talking about the connectivity with all the people. And how it will look like. When we say that spiritual leadership, we are talking that, yeah, that change is required. So if you are accepting that and moving forward, so how it will be looking like? Again, some kind of management organizations developed theoretical concept for that also. Because when I saw the connectivity aspect, which is seen as important, that is agreed. So what is the practical methodology to adopt that with all the leaders? So when we were going through that kind of search, I could see there are several models being developed on the spiritual leadership, how it can be achieved in the organization level or the national level or any kind of group level also. So something like this, the leader has to be exhibiting with a spiritual maturity. So he should be continuously focusing and also being the role model with the spiritual maturity. So when that is exhibited, all the followers will be able to realize that, and they will be able to see the spiritual maturity and move towards it and try to attain that also. So overall progression can be achieved in this concept. This is one of the sample model which is showing that spiritual leadership can be achieved in the group level. And I was telling the earlier one is simple model, and this is one of the complex model also. They are talking about some kind of realities, taking all the realities which is around in the team level or family level or national level as input, and putting some kind of, they listed out some 11 elements of spirituality. So these elements have to be adopted as a quality of that leader. So by having all these qualities as a processing ground with all those input, then we will be able to give an output of spiritual leadership. This is another complex model when they are talking about achieving the spiritual leadership in the larger level, when we talk about many people in this world. So how do we see this? Is it workable when we talk about our own level, when we talk about our own improvement? If we adopt this kind of approach, which is available through the management organizations, if we adopt this, is it practical to achieve, or how complex it is? Again, by having some thought process, I feel that even the simple model or the complex model is still not giving a clear conceptual direction to all of us to attain that easily. So that is the reason, again, I came back to Vethathirian. Yeah, so I just thought having all the concepts and philosophies given in simplified manner, is there anything in Vethathirian talking about the leadership and also attaining the spiritual leadership with some kind of practical methodology? So that is where today's poem came in front of my eyes, and that made me to share as this topic today. So in this poem, Maharishi is concluding the leader, how he has to be. So when we are talking about the spiritual leader, the qualities of the spiritual leader, in addition to the qualities which are mentioned earlier, because those are essential and those are required for all the kind of leaders. And in addition, when you talk about spiritual leadership, these could be the ideal qualities which are required. That's what I am understanding from the poem of our Guru Maharishi. So the first point is talking about free from avarice and ego. Avarice, I was trying to find the exact meaning of it, because this is in the poetic style. This word avarice is used in this poem. So when I'm seeing the exact meaning of it, literally it means that like extreme greed. So we have to be coming out of it, and the ego also. As we all know, those two are to be kept away when we talk about the progression of any human being, right? So that is one of the main quality required for being the spiritual leader. And the second one is talking about with real duty consciousness. What exactly it is meant with real duty conscious? When we are playing the spiritual leader role, any leader, as we know, the duty consciousness is required, but especially for being a successful spiritual leader, this is one of the essential quality also. I just wanted to touch more on this duty consciousness, what exactly we visualize or what exactly Maharishi meant on this. We all might have heard, right? We need to perform our duty and without expecting the results. Is that practical? Just thinking ideally on that. We have to perform our duties properly without expecting the result. So if you are talking about this point to any common man, it may not be practically acceptable, right? Yeah, when we are performing duty properly, we need to have some kind of result. Then only I will have satisfaction, self-satisfaction, or motivation. All kind of answers will be given generically. But when we mean the real duty consciousness, why that is philosophically told in that way, what I see is, again, Maharishi has explained also through another philosophical explanation. When we are coming to this world, we are not doing the things which are required for us to live. And at least up to the age of 20, everyone in this world is depending on other people, right? Either parents or brothers, sisters, relatives, or friends, or society, whatever it be. So they are depending on the many other people who are part of this society. And that is the reason we are all having a big amount of dues to be repaid to the society. At the age of 25 or 23, when a person is becoming an independent person, he is having a big amount of dues which has to be repaid to the society. So that is the reason this concept is being told to us. So when we get an opportunity to serve with a job or with a role, we should be doing that with full sincerity, being a clear understanding background of us. Last 20 years, this entire society in different forms, it supported me. And I got an opportunity to pay back that. So that is the reason I am doing this. So I will be doing this perfectly, how it has to be done, whatever the benefit given to us. The benefit coming out of it, either monetarily or with some kind of motivational words, that all like a secondary thing. First thing within us, we need to have, I got an opportunity to pay back the big amount of dues which I accumulated. In that basis, when we start performing our duty, so that will be coming to some kind of ideal level, and definitely it will produce positive results. So with that understanding only, I'm seeing this word, what is mentioned in the poem again, with real duty consciousness. And again, this is one of the very much essential quality for the spiritual leader also. And next one is being tolerant. Yeah, as you were touching the point earlier. So, and being flexible with others and accommodating others' interests and giving opportunity to talk, so to consider others' input. So all this, even though they are making trouble, we should be tolerating all those troubles because we are at the front line, right? So we have to be, when we talk about spiritual leader, we should be accommodating others, and we have to be having this another essential quality also, being tolerant. Another one is appearing as steadfast in charity. So again, here also I like to spend some time, because when we say, yeah, steadfast in charity, literally it means that we have to be striving to do charity. That's what it means. So doing harder and putting some kind of hard efforts to do charity. Again, charity, when we mean, we are all thinking like it is kind of monetary donation being paid to some kind of organization or whatever. This is what being generally seen as charity today. But it all starts with the selflessness, right? When you think about charity, first thing what is coming is, it's not only us in this world, people around us. So there are some social factors playing the factor as to create this difference. So there could be some differences within our family or within our relatives, within our social circle also. So that has to be considered for us, and we should extend our hands to help them, to remove the differences or to remove the struggles what they are going through. So that is the first step of charity. So when we come out of the selflessness and seeing around us and trying to help to remove the pain of others, and then it has to be extended as per the guidelines given by our guru in the duty concept also, right? So the same way, that is the reason we are expanding this charity from our immediate selflessness step onwards. That is what I am seeing. So when we see this quality like steadfast in charity, it is not starting from the highest level. So it has to be from, ideally starting from our own circle, and it has to be expanded further. So the spiritual leader, when he is having this kind of quality, so he will be able to help all the people of that team, or when we talk about organization, all the employees of that organization, so that he'll be considering all people's interest and trying to remove the troubles what is being faced by them. Again, yeah, so these four qualities, if you are talking about ideal requirement of spiritual leadership, I was again comparing back to the models, what is being populated by the management organizations to attain spiritual leadership. It's not only, when we talk about spiritual leadership, they are not talking about spiritual organization only. They are talking about all the organizations and nations have to go through this. Some of the countries are taking this very seriously and putting some kind of efforts to develop the people on this spiritual leadership. So when I'm comparing with this ideal four concepts with those models, what is being practically exhibited by them, So again, I'm not fully convinced that those models will be giving these 4 qualities to anyone. So again, comparing to our sky practices, so when we are talking about acquiring these 4 qualities, ideally our sky practices, what we are learning is definitely adding strength or giving a clear path. Sorry. Giving a clear path to get all those, acquire them, and move forward with a successful spiritual leader. So again, one by one, when I want to touch the topic, sorry, not the topic, the quality. Free from awareness and ego. As we all know, that is one of the main blemish listed by our Maharishi also, right? The ego should not be there. So all the practices which we are learning, right, from reducing the mind frequency by the meditation, and also by doing the introspection practices by our own self-analysis and analyzing the society around us also. So all these practices are adding strength to the first quality. And the second quality, when we talk about the karma yoga concept of understanding in all our deeds, not only our official duty. So in all our activities, when we have that karma yogic approach, so that will be adding definitely this quality will be strengthened within us. And being tolerant, of course, when we talk about achieving harmony within family level and within society level, it is definitely adding strength to that quality. And last one, steadfast in charity, is also being supported by our sky practices. That is obviously can be visualized, I believe. So that is the reason I was just spending some time to get our own visual approach by our sky practices, how we will be able to achieve this leadership. So with, okay, now, how do you see when we practice this on continuous manner, we will be strengthening all those qualities and we will be able to lead others also, right? When we are exhibiting that spiritual maturity within ourselves by seeing that definitely the surrounding members or people who are monitoring us will be getting that focus also and the pathway, and they will be able to move. I believe we all could accept that also. And again, now coming back to the poem, just taking you all through the poem, leadership is essential in any group of association, be it family or industry or government. So Maharishi is also touching the leadership is essential in all the levels. It's not only like a national level or whatever. So whether it is an organization or family or the government, all the levels. If the leader schools himself to be free from avarice and ego and is dedicated to duty consciousness while being tolerant of even hasty criticism, and if he is steadfast in charity, which means going to the succor of those that are in distress, to charity to that level, then hardened criminals too would be transformed to virtue, and peace would come to the land, peace and prosperity. The last 4 lines, we could see how confidently Maharishi is telling that, especially doing some kind of search on this spiritual leadership. After seeing those, I was really getting surprised to see the confidence level of our Maharishi, who is not having any kind of MBA from any kind of institution, right? So by his own self-development and self-research, he thought about the entire mankind of this world or universe level. And he is thinking about enhancing the excellence of human being, and put all this in words in this simple 1-page poem, especially those 4 lines in the last. It is telling that this kind of qualities adopted by the leader, by having this kind of approach, definitely we will be able to create a transformation. Even the strong words like hardened criminals too would be transformed to virtue and peace. So more than this, what is required? So if this is taken as a first step by all the leaders at the front level, it will be definitely adding a big strength to entire human population. I hope all of you agree with this. And yeah, I just wanted to conclude by talking few points on the way forward. Yeah, so now the concepts are clear, and the wordings in that poem is clearly listing out the qualities, what is required. So along with these inputs and all the additional philosophical explanation from our Maharishi, when we try to understand and add one by one to our own concept or way of life, so definitely that will be strengthening and moving us forward towards the spiritual leadership, which is the next level of leadership. When we talk about adding one by one, I wanted to mention one more point before we conclude here. So there was a question asked to Maharishi also, right? How any common man who is coming and to our satsang, weekly satsang is going on, all of a sudden one new member is coming, and without knowing any background or any other understanding, we are giving initiation to them, right? We are just teaching about physical exercises. Physically, he is fit, and we are giving initiation. Is that right? This is what I asked to Maharishi in the very beginning. So he used to mention that, or the other way, some of the professors asked, what is the qualification required for giving initiation to others? So Maharishi said, the person has to be alive. This one qualification is enough. So even in deeper level, when we had this discussion within the professor level, even they are sharing, Maharishi used to mention in some detailed discussion, we need not to worry about the background of them or nature of them. Whatever the qualities they have, whatever the capabilities they have, once the new practice is given to them, this new practice will gradually grow within them, and they will not have time to do the other kind of activities which they were doing on the negative side. That will be gradually gone away. So that is the kind of transformation he is seeing in everyone. So I could see the spiritual leadership concept when we strongly adopt that, and when we start moving, definitely by all these sky practices, we will be able to reach there. It's not in 10 years or 15 years. It could take time according to the demand of the society, but we will be able to definitely achieve that. And what will be the result of it? That is also meant by Maharishi in the world blessing, right? Leaders of all nations may progress in spiritual knowledge and do good service to the humanity. So the leaders at the national level, if they adopt this kind of approach, definitely we will be able to transform. And the other way, we can all bless and direct our younger generation to adopt these sky practices at a younger age, so that they will be able to be a strong future spiritual leader, and that will be adding strength to entire humanity. So with this thought sharing, yeah, I will conclude now. Thanks for listening, and we can continue with your interaction and speech. Thank you. Be blessed by the divine.